Hello, one and all, Justking, Chapter 219, Three Heroes. And after a rather lengthy selection process, our three astronauts have finally been picked. Ryu, Senku, and good old Kohaku. And I really do love Zeno's explanation here, basically saying, the modern day astronauts, the astronauts from before the world was petrified, would not really be even qualified to go on this mission because it's going to be so much different from what they could have ever experienced when they went up to space. That's really not even worth it trying to train them for whatever madness is actually going to face on the moon. Meanwhile, the Kingdom of Science has gotten really, really good at rolling with punches and just dealing with the absolute madness and insanity they've had to face on, a daily freaking basis. Also, I'm pretty sure last time an astronaut landed on the moon was back in 1972. So while some of those astronauts may certainly still be alive today, and they could probably even find their statues, I just really don't think they'd be all that qualified right now to actually, go to the freaking moon, survive the, just basically space and whatever war they're going to face against the Y-Man. So yeah, makes way more sense just to pick people from the King of Science who are used to, rolling with the punches more or less. And I really think that adaptability is seen with the first slot pick, which is good old Ryu. I mean, let's not forget, Stanley's team had a fighter pilot themselves, but Ryu managed to outfly her, outgun her, actually managed to be a freaking military-trained fighter pilot. And, that was because they weren't actually flying, fighter pilot level planes. They were flying in what was basically old-timey planes from like 50 years ago, and yet Ryu was able to adapt to this, to realize exactly what he needed to do, exactly how he could fly perfectly in that plane. And because of it, he was able to win the fight. So yeah, he makes a much better choice for the pilot of the space shuttle than Charlotte because, he is more adaptable and can handle different types of vehicles, however insane they might be. Though I was really thinking that the pilot for this would end up being Stanley because, he's a freaking military soldier and a sniper and is just so deadly. So I would really like to see him, go up on the moon and have his own redemption arc. And I think we might still actually see that because I had some thoughts this chapter. What if, this whole team that goes up in the moon just ends up losing, very, very quickly? What if they get petrified by the Y-Man or whatever? And then the Kingdom of Science needs to launch a rescue mission, a Team B made up of Stanley, Chrome, and then either Luna because her father's the Y-Man, or Suka because she's absolutely freaking adorable. So why wouldn't they send her? Obvious choice right there. I think it'd be really cool and really show, Chrome having to step up in a world without Senku in it. I would so love to see that. Though the big disadvantage for Team B would be the fact they wouldn't have Medusa, and it seems like they're going to petrify Senku and the rest of them before they launch them into space. They don't have to deal with the, the whole life support system and all that. But Team B wouldn't have that, and therefore, they actually need to design a life support system to make sure they don't die, which would make things very, very complicated, way more complicated than they are now, so that'd be interesting. That'd definitely be interesting. Anyway, though, it seems like the second C is going to Senku, and everyone's like, yeah, of course, obviously it's gonna be Senku, but then Zeno gives that evil sneer as he explains, an astronaut needs to have a whole lot of stamina. And then everyone realizes, oh no. And honestly, right here, right now, I need to complain a little bit, because Senku, it has been your dream to go to space literally your entire life. Literally since you were like 5 years old. And for the last literal 100 chapters, you've been trying to build a space shuttle, trying to figure out a way to get to the Y-Man on the moon. And yet you have not been doing stamina training? What is wrong with you? Literally, what is wrong with you? Why have you not been preparing for this day more? Why have you not been working out, stretching, exercising, doing laps around the village every night before bed? Why have you not been preparing for this before now? Seriously. I mean, Senku, I admire your resolve. I admire your inner strength, but it doesn't actually mean a whole lot if you're not doing everything you can to prepare for the space shuttle launch. Like, I don't know, actually doing stamina freaking training? At the very least, try sparring with Kohaku or something. Seriously, Senku, you could have done better here. You could have done better here. And now he's forced to basically go through boot camp as Nikki screams at him, which, oh, I love you, Nikki. I freaking love you. And I'm glad you're back. She's definitely the best person to actually lead Senku through this terrifying boot camp to get him into full strength where he's able to, be able to survive going to space without the impact of it basically killing him immediately. And, oh god, we just get such an anime moment right here as Senku remembers, my father went through the same thing. My father also struggled with the clothes swimming competition and, he managed to do it. He managed to overcome it, so I'm gonna do the same. My father, your courage has inspired me to go plus ultra. Oh, such an anime moment, such a freaking anime moment right there. And Senku does a little bit better, a little better after this. I mean, his technique is absolutely freaking awful. Even I can tell that. I am not a strong swimmer by any stretch of imagination. And even I can tell Senku's not really doing all that well right here. Though Chrome and Suka just really have to cheer him on, and that is just so absolutely adorable. I love it. And also do just love seeing the rest of Ishigami Village really showing their stuff. I mean, of course they're going to be good at close swimming. They're a freaking fishing village. They're the water tribe, more or less. So, obviously there's going to be competition, they are really, really freaking good at. Anyway, though, that just leaves one last slot, which goes to Kohaku. Yeah, I am seeing a lot of anger about that online. Though to me, it does make a lot of sense. I mean, I saw people saying, oh, it's going to be Kohaku last week. And I'm like, it is? I don't see that. Where are you getting that from? But, looking at it now, it makes sense. It makes sense. I mean, for one thing, like Suka says, she is way, way lighter than he is. And that means a whole lot when it comes to actually, launching these people into freaking space. Especially because they're going to be petrified, which I think makes them weigh a lot more, which, raises a whole lot of questions about that. But either way, her weighing a lot less than Tsukasa basically means that the rocket will have a much easier time getting them up to space. Huzzah! And just in terms of combat capabilities, I mean, I know Tsukasa would obviously beat her in a fight. He is a freaking mountain, but at the same time, he is a mountain. His blows are more about, utter strength than speed, dexterity. I mean, when he fights, he's more or less standing still while swinging his sword, while Kohaku is a 3D fighter. She'd be an Ackerman from Attack on Titan. She is, able to use her environment. She's able to adapt very easily. So, in space, she would be a much, much more skilled, much more useful fighter to have on their team. And for some reason, they gave her a gun, which... interesting? I mean, definitely interesting. Back when, they were first doing that battle against Stanley, I was really expecting Kohaku to basically pull out her super eyesight and become a sniper, able to outsnipe Stanley, which, God, I would have loved to see that. I would have so loved to see that, but now they're going into space, so I'm not really sure how she's gonna do with that. I mean, are they gonna put her through gun training? Has she been through gun training? I'm very, very curious, very, very curious. But anyway, I do get why people are mad. I mean, Suka's such an absolutely freaking amazing character, and he hasn't really done anything since his battle against Stanley, and if he stays back on Earth, he probably won't do anything anymore, for the rest of the series. His storyline's probably finished, which is definitely disappointing, but at the same time, I'm so excited to see Kohaku come up to space with Senku. I mean, let's not forget, her first exposure to science was... well, yes, Senku coming back from the dead, but her second exposure to science was Senku basically being able to build a thing that got a log off of her, and now she can experience, going to freaking space, experience being among the stars with Senku. Oh my god, I cannot wait to see that. I cannot freaking wait to see that. And anyway, like I said before, we could definitely get a B team, Stanley, maybe Tsukasa, Chrome, Luna, or Tsuka. Some of those people coming up to space to rescue Senku and the rest of them after they get petrified or after they get captured by the Y-Man or something. Oh, that'd be fun. That'd be a lot of fun to see. I'm really hoping that's the case. But anyway, the rest of the chapter, we see a whole bunch of reunions, as thanks to teleconferencing, they don't actually need to all stay across the world anymore and everyone come back to Japan. Huzzah! And we see Taiju reunite with Yuzu! Yay! Then we actually don't get to see the, reunion itself. I mean, that's always, super awkward, like a handshake or whatever. I mean, after such a very, very long time apart, I was hoping for, a hug, maybe a kiss, something. Seriously, you two, just get freaking married already. Just get freaking married. And then we see Jinro come back, and he's super excited, and he obviously does something, really, really stupid and perverted, as Kohaku then beats him within an inch of his life. Oh, he still looks happy. He still looks happy to be back in Japan, back in his homeland, as Matsukaze just kind of looks on like, oh, master. I want to avenge you, I want to go after Kohaku, but I'm fairly certain she would kill me, so I'm just gonna kind of stand here, please forgive me. Oh, that was beautiful. But anyway, then we get to see some more of their training, and for Kohaku, she has to solve a maze, which, fun fact, is actually not solvable. Apparently, Kohaku's spit is covering up part of a maze that's important to actually solving it, so as of right now, the maze cannot be solved. I mean, as far as I can tell, if you think differently, please let me know down below. And I just absolutely freaking love Sai. He's so excited typing away at a maze-making program, which... oh, I get that. I definitely get that. I mean, when I first saw it, I'm like, yeah, there's no way I could ever program something like that. And then I just kind of stared at it for a little bit. I'm like, actually, if I use the, pathfinding algorithm like A-star, I messed around with it like that, I could maybe make something that would work. I mean, maybe. And I spent like 20 minutes trying to program it in my head, and Yes, we programmers are a funny bunch, a very, very funny bunch. And the next step of the training is Equilibrium Trial, which, yeah, the Ishigami Village people are much, much less prepared for. And Jinro vomits! Thank God, seriously, it's not astronaut training if somebody doesn't freaking hurl. And then there's jump training, which is apparently important for some reason. I mean, they're going to be fighting in zero space, so I don't really know why they need to be able to jump even higher than that, but yeah, it seems like Tsukasa has it in the bag, as he is, a really, really good jumper. But then he just kind of stares in awe upwards as Kohaku jumps over him. I know this is supposed to be, him amazed at her jumping capabilities, but let's not forget, she is wearing a dress. And he is, looking up at her. I'm just saying, Tsukusa's getting an eyeful right here, and, yeah, that's a little bit creepy, man. That's a little bit creepy how you're looking at her like that. Just saying. Obviously, I'm joking. Obviously, Tsukasa is, a gentleman. Oh, actually, now I think about this, something else I want to mention. I said before, Kohaku's such a skilled fighter. She's so good at using her environment. She's so good at maneuvering, in 3D space. She could be an Ackerman from Attack on Titan. There's somebody who's probably actually better at her than that. That would be Homura. I mean, she was a freaking gymnast who was able to, out-jump, out-maneuver Kohaku. So, yeah, I kind of feel like she should have been recommended to be an astronaut here. I mean, where even is she? I guess she came back to Japan to be with Yoga, but I didn't actually... Did I see her? Let me double check. Yeah, I'm not actually seeing her in this chapter at all, which is curious, very, very curious. Like I said, with her 3D capabilities, with her gymnastic skills, she would certainly fit well on the team to be on the moon. I don't know, maybe I put her in the Team B. Oh god, Team B is getting very, very full at this point. We have Stanley, Chrome, Luna, Tsukasa, Homura. Oh man, before long, it's gonna be, the entire Kingdom of Science all getting together on a rocket and going off to the moon to save Senko. That'd be something. That'd certainly be something. But anyway, then Tsukasa attacks Kohaku and tries to murder her! Oh no! But yeah, obviously this is Tsukasa testing her, seeing exactly what she's capable of, how much she's grown ever since their first fight, all those years and years and years ago. And, he basically says the gap between us is not all that far. It's not as far as it once was. And there could certainly be a day where you could, beat me, where you could take me out, especially in this modern age with all the modern weapons that are being created. As he laughs and says, science is the great equalizer. You know what? I really do love that. I really do love that as his own character arc, him realizing that, science managed to equalize everything. Science managed to make so even his muscles don't make him as OP as they once did. And Senku certainly seems pleased with Tsukusa's analysis, as he realizes, yeah, Kohaku is really freaking awesome. And seriously, we're gonna get Kohaku and Senku going to space together. That's gonna be so absolutely amazing, even if they get petrified, as soon as they actually land on the moon. Which seems, rather likely. And now the astronauts have been picked, all that's left is build a spaceship. Or I guess the 5 spaceships that are gonna be sent to space to reassemble the ultimate spaceship. And then I guess Ryu, Senku, and Kohaku will go up in a 6th spaceship, and then, meet up with a mega spaceship, reassemble it, put it together, and then, ride that back to Earth after they deal with the Y-Man. And, after they probably get petrified. I mean, let me think all this down below. Do you think they're actually going to get petrified when they get to the moon? Do you think this 3-man team's actually going to be able to beat the Y-Man on their own somehow, some way? What is the Y-Man? Any, late predictions for that? And how much more of a story do we have left? I mean, that's something I'm seeing a lot of debate about online right now. Do you think this series could end in the next 10, 20 chapters? Or they just go to the moon, stop the Y-Man, come back, and that's it? I mean, even if the team does end up getting petrified and Team B needs to go up and save them, I don't think that would add on, more than another 20 chapters to the series. So are we coming to a conclusion here, or is there something after the Y-Man? I mean, I've been saying for a very long time that the Y-Man was trying to do what he did to protect the Earth from some bigger, badder, ultimate threat. So we can certainly see, a post-Y-Man arc, which is basically just Senku and the rest of them preparing the Earth, preparing humanity for this bigger, badder threat. And that'd be cool. That would definitely be cool, them teaming up with the Y-Man. I mean, that might sound insane, but let's not forget, Tsukasa murdered Senku, and now he is their, combat expert who they were willing to put their lives in to bring with them to the moon. So, yeah, Senku is a very forgiving person. But please leave all down below. Be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss my next video. And until then, peace!